The Book of Enoch contains a description of 10 heavens as he was taken to each one by an archangel. He recorded what he saw and how marvelous they were. Note that this video is just meant to show the wonder of God according to the Book of Enoch, and it is referenced all through. But I can bet that this video will make you honor God. Share this video with critics and atheists, and let them witness the true Creator. All glory belongs to God. The first heaven contains a very great sea that is greater than the earthly sea. This suggests that it contains the waters that was released onto the earth during the Great Flood, in the days of Enoch's great-grandson Noah. This passage suggests that the earth has more land mass than ocean surface coverage. It's not until the floodwaters of heaven come down that the heavenly waters will contribute to the oceans covering up to 70% of the earth's surface, the way we see it in the modern age. So to Enoch chapter 3 verse 1. It came to pass when Enoch had told his sons that the angels took him onto their wings and bore him up onto the first heaven and placed him on the clouds. And there I looked, and again I looked higher and saw the ether, and they placed me on the first heaven and showed me a very great sea, greater than the earthly sea. In this first heaven, Enoch saw the elders who were rulers of the stellar orders, and he saw 200 angels. They rule the star and the services they render to heaven, and he noted that these are the angels that hang around sailors. As the first heaven is the storeroom of rain, which can be considered as the source of water for the earth, the first heaven also contains the storeroom of snow and dew, and each one has a guardian, an angel in charge, and this is where the amount of snow and dew sent on the earth is regulated. The second heaven, as described by Enoch, contains incomparable darkness. 2 Enoch chapter 7 verses 1 and 2. And those men took me and led me up onto the second heaven, and showed me darkness, greater than earthly darkness. And there I saw prisoners hanging, watched, awaiting the great and boundless judgment. And these angels were dark-looking, more than earthly darkness, and incessantly making weeping through all hours. Verse 2. And I said to the men who were with me, Wherefore are these incessantly tortured? They answered me, These are God's apostates, who obeyed not God's commands, but took counsel with their own will, and turned away with their prince, who also is fastened on the fifth heaven. Enoch was taken to the third heaven after leaving the second heaven, and here saw the harvest of this place, and they were so good as he had not seen before. Enoch described this place in chapter 8 of his second book, verse 2 to 9. And I saw all the sweet flowering trees and beheld their sweet-smelling fruits, and all the foods borne by them bubbling with fragrant exhalation. And amid the trees that of life, in that place whereon the Lord rests, when he goes up into paradise. And this tree is of ineffable goodness and fragrance, and adorned more than every existing thing, and on all sides it is in form gold-looking and vermilion and fire-like, and covers all, and it has produced from all fruits. Its root is in the garden at the earth's end, and paradise is between corruptibility and incorruptibility, and two springs come out which send forth honey and milk, and their springs send forth oil and wine, and they separate into 4 parts, and go round with quiet course and go down into the paradise of Eden, between corruptibility and incorruptibility. And thence they go forth along the earth and have a revolution to their circle even as other elements. And here there is no unfruitful tree, and every place is blessed. And there are 300 angels very bright, who keep the garden, and with incessant sweet singing and never silent voices, serve the Lord throughout all days and hours. This place was a very pleasant place, and Enoch was told that this is the place reserved for the righteous, people who have served God and fulfilled his commandment of love. This place, O Enoch, is prepared for the righteous, who endure all manner of offense from those that exasperate their souls, who avert their eyes from iniquity, and make a righteous judgment, and give bread to the hungering, and cover the naked with clothing, and raise up the fallen, and help injured orphans, and who walk without fault before the face of the Lord, and serve him alone. And for them is prepared this place for an eternal inheritance. But this place was the southern side of that heaven. As soon as Enoch has savored the goodness of that part of the realm, he was taken towards to the northern side. And there he saw a terrible and dark place, and there was torture, there was fire everywhere, and there is also frost and ice, and there was thrust, and the angels who were ruthless and were torturing without mercy. And the angels told Enoch in chapter 10 verse 3 that the place was for people dishonor God, who on earth practice sin against nature, which is child corruption after the sodomitic fashion, magic making, enchantments and devilish witchcrafts, and who boast of their wicked deeds, stealing, lies, calumnies, envy, rancor, fornication, murder, and who, accursed, steal the souls of men, who, seeing the poor, take away their goods and themselves wax rich, injuring them for other men's goods, who, being able to satisfy the empty, made the hungering to die, being able to clothe, strip the naked, and who knew not their Creator and bowed to the soulless and lifeless gods who cannot see nor hear, vain gods, who also built hewn images and bow down to unclean handiwork. For all these is prepared this place among these for eternal inheritance. Then Enoch was translated to the fourth heaven, and he saw the ray of the light of the sun and the moon. It looked like the rays were on wheels, and it was as fast as the wind going fast, and it did not cease day and night, bringing light to the earth. The going back and forth of the sunlights was accompanied by 8 stars, 4 on the right wheel and another 4 on the left wheel. Each star has 1,000 stars at its disposal. He mentioned that the sun is kindled by 100 angels. He saw other flying elements of the sun, which were the phoenix and the chikidri, with feet and tails in the form of a lion and a crocodile's head. They were huge with 12 wings, and they accompanied the sun with heat and dew. He was made to see how the sun shares its light in season and out of season throughout the month. In the fifth heaven, Enoch saw countless soldiers named Grigori. They looked like humans but were great giants that even giants might consider as giants, and they kept their mouths shut. The whole heaven was silent as well. And Enoch asked the angels accompanied him, and he said these were the entities who defied God, came to the earth and broke their vows, and took the women of earth as wives, and wreaked havoc on the earth, and God has kept them there till the last days. In the sixth heaven, Enoch saw 7 bands of angels. They were beautiful, and their faces were shining, and they appeared the same way with no single difference even to their faces, manner of dressing, and composure. They are in charge of the stars, the alteration of the moon, or the revolution of the sun, and more so, they are in charge of the good government of the world. These are the archangels who are above angels, measure all life in heaven and on earth, and the angels who are appointed over seasons and years, the angels who are over rivers and sea, and who are over the fruits of the earth, and the angels who are over every grass, giving food to all, to every living thing, and the angels who write all the souls of men and all their deeds and their lives before the Lord's face. In their midst are 6 phoenixes and 6 cherubim, and 6 six-winged ones continually with one voice singing one voice. And it is not possible to describe their singing, and they rejoice before the Lord at his footstool. In the seventh heaven, in chapter 20, verse 1, Enoch saw there a very great light, and fiery troops of great archangels, incorporeal forces and dominions, orders and governments, cherubim and seraphim, thrones and many-eyed ones, 9 regiments, the Ioanite stations of light. And I became afraid, and began to tremble with great terror, and those men took me, and led me after them, and said to me, verse 2, "Have courage, Enoch, do not fear," and showed me the Lord from afar, sitting on his very high throne. For what is there on the 10th heaven, since the Lord dwells there? In the 10th heaven is God, as he said in the book. Enoch was in the presence of the majesty, the King of kings. All heavenly troops were there, worshiping God according to their rank. The cherubims, the seraphims, the 6-winged creatures, which were the 4 living creatures described by Ezekiel, were all before the Lord's face. At this time, the men that accompanied Enoch left him alone, and he was all by himself and sore afraid. He was taken up by Archangel Gabriel and brought before God, and he peeped into the 8th heaven and 9th heaven. The 8th heaven is called Muzaloth, which is the changer of seasons, drought, and rain, and the 12 constellations of the circle of the firmament. I presume that these 12 constellations are what astrologers link with each month, but they appear not to be the same. I do not have any authority in that aspect, so we stick to only what we believe as Christians. The 9th heaven is called Kuchavim, and this is the home of the 12 constellations of the circle of the firmament. Now the 10th heaven is where Enoch saw the appearance of the Lord's face. It was like iron made to glow in fire, and it brought sparks and burns. 2 Enoch chapter 22 verse 2. Thus in a moment of eternity I saw the Lord's face, but the Lord's face is ineffable, marvelous and very awful, and very, very terrible. At this point in the video, I think we need to take time and worship the God of heaven and earth, creator of the universe. You can say a word of worship in your heart. I have always wondered why a God like this would choose to call us his children. Let us bless the Lord now and forever in eternity. If you found this video insightful, please like and subscribe. Stay tuned for our next video. God bless you.